Herbaceous Sprouts has 1 to 4 gardeners trying to plant the most valuable herbs and flowers. This copy of the game was provided to us by the game's illustrator, Beth Sobel. To keep things simpler, I'm not going to show how the solo game works. Shuffle the tool cards, then put out 1 for the number of players plus 1. Depending on player count, you'll remove 4 or 10 cards. Mix the seed dice in the seed bag, then draw and roll dice to fill the dice spots on each tool card. Set the lemonade card off to the side. Each player takes their wheelbarrow mat, sprout tokens, and reference card. If you're playing with the rival, meaning bot, put those tokens off to the side. You're now ready to play. When you take a card, you'll also take the dice that are on it. I'm going to explain the wheelbarrow first so you'll know how to play. Then I'll come back and explain these cards. You can only store 7 dice on your board. If you have more, you must discard some dice, your choice, to get down to 7. Next, you may use the special action from the card. These actions cannot be saved. Whether you take the action or not, the card is discarded after this step, unless there's a sprout pot in the corner. If so, you may store the sprout under your wheelbarrow to use later. Next, plant herbs and or flowers in the garden. Let's look at the board now. There are 4 gardens. The first player to plant in each garden earns the lemonade bonus card. The first garden is for herbs of the same type. The first person to have 6, 5, 4, or 3 of one type places their token on the board and returns those dice to the bag. Once a spot is filled by a player, it is no longer available to others. The second garden is for herbs that are different. The same rules apply. Place a token and discard the dice. The third garden is for pairs of herbs. Flowers cannot be played in any of these 3 gardens, only herbs. Instead, the last garden is for those flowers. In order to plant a flower, you need a travel die or a card. Let's look at those cards now. For each glove, you may re-roll 1 die in your wheelbarrow. Travels let you plant flowers. If you have a watering can, you may trade 2 matching seed dice to plant a flower of your choice. Seed bags let you draw, roll, and keep a seed die. Market packages let you rotate a seed die to select a different face. For example, turn a bay to a saffron. All the dice have 5 of the herbs. Depending on the color of the die, the 6th die has something different. The pink dice have gardening gloves, the yellow dice have a trowel, the green dice have 1 of the 3 flower types, and the blue dice have a wild herb that can be used for anything. Unlike the tool cards that need to be used immediately, these dice can be placed on your wheelbarrow to be used later. Once all players have gone, discard the last tool card, put the dice back into the bag, shuffle, and pass it to the next player so that they can start the next round. The game ends when the tool deck is empty. At that point, add up the scores to see who won. Draft dice and cards that help you fill gardens before the other players. That's Herbaceous Sprouts. Including setup and takedown, our Herbaceous Sprouts games last around 45 minutes. Depending on the players, I could see some games lasting longer and some being as quick as 30 minutes. The center board and player areas are a bit smaller than the average game. I'd say a coffee table could work for 1 or 2 players, but maybe use a dining table for more than that. There isn't much reading other than the reference sheet, and there isn't much math aside from the scoring. There are a handful of symbols, but I found them easy to learn, tell apart, and remember. The box recommends 8 and up, but I could see experienced 6 and 7-year-old gamers playing this and playing well. Herbaceous Sprouts' bot have been staking it to us in our first few games, but in our 5th, we destroyed it. We worked almost semi-cooperatively, blocking them, but still making sure we were helping ourselves. It finished with only 11 points. I 22, Mama 31, and Dad at 37. Take that, bot. It's not easy to capture the feel of a game when you change the style, but the team made a game that's very much herbaceous while still being different. Nice work. The board and cards are so pretty. Unfortunately, the dice reflect too much light and the pictures on the dice are blurry. This is much nastier than the original Herbaceous in that one, players can block you, but they aren't necessarily trying to. In Herbaceous Sprouts, you're racing to fill in spots. It's all about blocking and sticking it to others, ruining their plans. If you like peaceful games, skip this. I like this with 4 players, but I prefer 3 players in the bot a bit more. With 4, you have 3 players constantly changing the game state. With 3 in the bot, you only have 2 other players to think about and can see what the bot will do based on the leftover card. You have to decide. Take your top choice but give the bot something valuable, or take your second choice to block the bot. I prefer this strategy over pure chaos. I like the original Herbaceous more than Herbaceous Sprouts because I think there's a bit too much luck in this one. I feel like I have more control over my decisions in Herbaceous. That's not to say that Herbaceous Sprouts isn't a good game. People that want an attractive theme that's easy and fun to play alone or with a small group of gamers with any level of experience should check out Herbaceous Sprouts.